Asya
एतेनै गणो अस्य
कृतं सयाद् घनिष्कृतम्
कृतं
कृतं
स्यात् अघनिष्कृतम्
कृतं
यदा नारायणयेति
यदा
यदा
नारायणाय
नारायणायेति
जगाद चतुरक्षरम् अक्षरम्.
जगाद
जगाद
चतुरक्षरम्
चतुरक्षरम्.
Chatur.
Would somebody like to read?
I can read nothing.
Ji, Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Krishna. Translation. The Vishnudutas continued, even previously while eating and at other times, this Ajamil would call his son, saying, "My dear Narayan, please come here." Although calling the name of his son, he nevertheless uttered the 4 syllables Narayan. Simply by chanting the name of Narayan in this way, he sufficiently atoned for the sinful reactions of millions of beings. Purport. Previously, when engaged in sinful activities to maintain his family, Ajamil chanted the name of Narayan without offenses. To chant the holy name of the Lord just to counteract one's sinful activities or to commit sinful activities on the strength of the chanting of the holy name is offensive. Namno vlad yasni papa buddhi. But although Ajamil engaged in sinful activities, he never chanted the holy name of Narayan to counteract them. He simply chanted the name Narayan to call his son. Therefore, his chanting was effective. Because of chanting the holy name of Narayan in this way, he had already vanquished the accumulated sinful reactions of many, many lives. In the beginning, he was pure, but although he later committed many sinful acts, he was offenseless because he did not chant the holy name of Narayan to counteract them. One who always chants the holy name of the Lord without offenses is always pure. As confirmed in this verse, Ajamil was already sinless, and because he chanted the name of Narayan, he remained sinless. It did not matter that he was calling his son, the name itself was effective. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, please comment too, if possible.
Sure, Mataji. So here we see that, as from the previous verses, the Vishnudutas are explaining the why Ajamil is actually sinless and actually pure. And in the previous chapter also, we were seeing that on one hand, when the uh, Yamdutas, they were criticizing Ajamil for his sinful activities, Vishnudutas kept calling him as completely sinless and completely pure. And it sounds very confusing from the Yamaduta's side. It seems very convincing that he did perform all these acts. But for somebody who does not know the effectiveness of the holy name, it's very difficult to understand how the sins will be counteracted by pure chanting of the holy name. And now, although this chanting which Ajamil did was not completely pure, but at least it was offenseless. So that's why just by calling his son by the name of Narayan, he became like, there was no intention behind calling the name of Narayan. He was simply calling out to his son, and that's why his chanting was effective. Uh, yeah, everything else seems pretty straightforward. Anybody would like to add something? Mataji's probably.
In Bhagavad Gita, that verse says, right, chapter number 8, Yam Yam Vapi Smaran Bhavam. क्या है त्यजत
Tejatyante
yante
kale.
kalevrim. So whatever one's thought is at the last moment, that's where the destiny will take. So how beautifully Prabhupada ji is writing, at the last moment too, he was chanting pure, like offenselessly. Not, I wouldn't say yesterday from our thing, from the verse we said he was chanting offenselessly, although it might not be pure, but it was offenseless. That's why he got away from all the sins of his life. So again and again talks about how merciful Krishna is, although he has no intention of calling Krishna, literally no intention. Yet he's calling his son with full, I guess, attention to that. I just want my son, he's fearful in his heart that I want my son to save me. His Sukriti came that the son's name was Narayan, or you can say mercy of Krishna that his son's name was Narayan, and at the end that led him save it. So beautiful. Thank you, Prabhuji. Beautiful comments. Anybody would like to add something? Should the silence be treated gold and move on to the next one?
Yes, Mataji.
ठीक है जी. So we'll move on to the next one. Lisa Mataji, you wanted to read the Sanskrit? You
Yes,
can be the Sanskrit buddy. ठीक है जी. चलिए. You can start.
yes. Stena surapo mitra druk brahma kuru talpaka stri
Stain, s-
raja.
stain surapo mitra dhruga brahma gura talpaka
Stri raja pitrgo hanta
Sriraj Pitra
Sri Raja
Gohanta
Pitra Gohanta
ye chapata kino pare.
Ye
Ye Chapata
Chapata
Kino Apare
Kino Pare
Sarvesham api aghavatam
Sarvesham Api
Sarvesham Api
Agavatam
Agavatam
idam eva sunishkritam
Idam Eva Sunishkritam
namavya vyaharanam vishnur
Nama Vyaharanam
Nama
Vishnu
Vyaharanam Vishnur
yatastad vishaya matih
Yatastat
Yatastat
Vishayamati.
Vishayamati. Would anyone like to read? Oh, it's just a translation. I can read translation. The chanting of the. Oh, go ahead, Prabhuji. Go ahead.
Go on, Mataji, go on.
ठीक है जी. The chanting of the holy name of Lord Vishnu is the best process of atonement for a thief of gold or other valuables, for a drunkard, for one who betrays a friend or a relative, for one who kills a Brahmana, for one who indulges in sex with the wife of his guru or other superior. It is also the best method of atonement for one who murders women, the king or his father, for one who slaughters cows, for all the sinful men. Simply by chanting the holy name of Lord Vishnu, such sinful person may attract the attraction of Supreme Lord, who therefore considers, because this man has chanted my holy name, my duty is to give him protection. Oh Hari Bol. So no wonder why our Acharya says Nam Nami Ek hai. This is the conviction that we should have when we are chanting, that names of Krishna are non-different from Krishna himself. So when somebody sinful, like we have seen from the examples above, all the regulative principles are broken here from the examples that are given. So despite of the sin, if simply chants the holy name of Vishnu, Krishna is so merciful that he thinks, he's chanting my name, so I need to give him protection. We have seen so many examples where Jad Bharat, who was a pure devotee, was given protection. We can see, Prahlad Maharaj given protection. That's on a pure level. We are seeing now Ajamil, who is so sinful throughout his life. Somewhere or other, there are so many things that Ajamil is doing, knowingly or unknowingly, resembles us. So if we chant names of Krishna or Hare Krishna Mahamantra and follow our Acharyas' recommendations and suggestions, we can see Krishna is there. No wonder why Prabhuji always says, Krishna will guide us, Krishna will help us. You chant helplessly as if we have no one but you. Krishna will help us. And we see that in our lives. Things change for us too. That's because we are trying to surrender, and Krishna is so merciful, even though we are trying, even though we are useless, we commit so many things, yet he helps us. So that's what is being shown here. Though he chanted without the intention of calling Krishna, Vishnu thought that he's chanting my name, so it is my duty to protect him. Talks about Aseem mercy of Krishna. Anybody would like to add something?
But the one thing that we are missing is
Ji.
that beginning he was very pure. He was always chanting the name of the God, and because that process, all the earlier sins has been vanquished.
Yes.
So when he started, it was the clean slate.
Mm-hmm.
Then he got into touch with the prostitutes, got affected. They married her and had children.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a new chapter starting. He was
Mm-hmm.
such a pure devotee that when he started this name, and he put the name one of his son as Narayana. So when he was calling Narayana, he was not calling Vishnu. He was calling his son in a materialistic way.
Yes. Yes.
But because of his purity earlier,
Mm-hmm.
which vanquished his sins, when the Yamdutas came, and Yamduta says, since he's taken the name of Vishnu now, so even though it was not meant for calling Vishnu pure way, but he was given a benefit of it.
Mm-hmm. True.
That is my point is. You
Mm-hmm.
put something on that.
No, that's true, Prabhuji. Because he had so much Sukriti from the beginning too. But at the
Yeah.
same time, I think from this verse, it also highlights, it doesn't matter where you start. Because remember, Bhagavad Gita says there are certain people who should be atatais. There are certain people who are called atatais that should be killed regardless what it is. And one of the atatais is a murderer or a slaughter who kills cows. And here we are seeing, even if they are a murderer or a cow slaughter, simply by chanting, Krishna will protect.
Bhagavad Gita says ki killing of slaughterhouse and cows. Which sloka are you talking?
You remember the Atatai one? I
Atatai,
don't know
no,
the number.
there are
Atatais.
four atatais,
Hanji.
right? Who takes a sword, the
Ji.
wife, burns the house,
Ji.
etc. But
Who
what you
burns
said,
the house, who kills someone.
slaughtering the cows, etc., is not mentioned there.
Isn't it killing someone a Atatai too?
So killing atatai means, you see, if you take it in broader sense, it means when you're killing a person, right? That is atatai. He comes and singularly kills it. Now you want to sort of get in the animal killing also, etc. That comes a different thing.
ठीक है जी, we can ask Prabhuji to help clarify. हो सकता है different to you. I'm just thinking कि killing anyone is a sin too.
Of course, we all say in Saparmo Dharma. Thank you.
Good point though. किसी और ने
Hare
कुछ
Krishna.
anybody would like to add?
Hello from all devotees.
Hare Krishna ji.
Each one of us, one point of time, were all pure, and we have to understand that due to some contamination, due to some selfish desire, we are all in this world. So, and may have taken many lives as because we are becoming more and more conditioned, more and more impure. So the difference here is that in Ajamil's case, whatever sinful activity he did, but at any time he was not committing any of those 10 offenses which we are always mentioning during the morning time, or we should try to remember. Okay, so none of these 10 offenses are being committed. He didn't hold any grudge towards or he was not trying to chastise any person who is promoting the holy names and all the stuff. He was just doing a gross sinful activity in materialistic terms. So in that way, he was always in that way he was saved, and he still could attract the name of he could attract the mercy of the Lord, because they were all mainly gross sinful activities. So there was no spiritual sinful activity, we can say. In our cases, sometimes we may end up doing those things, and that's why we are not progressing. I mean, I may not be progressing, rather, I would say. So
No, that's true.
each devotee has to contemplate on whether he or she is falling in that criteria of the offenses of the holy name. So one should be very careful whenever they are chanting, and in a very prayerful mood, in a humble mood, we should approach Harinam Prabhu. That is, even holy name is Lord himself, so it is Harinam Prabhu. So therefore, one has to be very prayerful mood, with a lot of love, with seeking all the blessings of Prabhupada and Acharyas. We should approach the holy name with full love and helplessness. So that is where the difference is. Last few days I'm just contemplating only on that only, like how is Ajamil chanting offenseless? Like we are already in devotion, but somewhere there is a lack. Because if we are chanting offenseless, then the immediate symptom should have been the symptoms of the chanting of the pure holy name. That is what is told in Shikshashtakam by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, so tears should roll from our eyes, our hair should stand. So nothing of this kind is happening. Only thing which comes in mind is, are we going to finish our rounds in time? Okay, so this is a constant question many of the people have. They may be focusing, but the main focus is on time rather than the words. So yeah, again, I'm not saying all of us, but I'm revealing my consciousness. So, but this is what comes. Even in spite of trying again and again, that I should only hear the names, but sometime later it comes. So, okay, oh, I need to complete. I have to go to the other work. So all the works of the world comes into our mind. So that means we are continuously actually committing offense only. Whereas whenever he was calling the name of his son, also he was calling very lovingly, knowingly, unknowingly, he was calling the names very lovingly. And at the end time, he was calling fearfully. But again, there was love involved in it, because he was fearful that now he will leave the body, then he will be dissociated with his son. So again, lovingly, he was calling. So lovingly and helplessly was calling. So definitely there was no offense when Ajamil is calling. So but we need to check for our own selves, like where we stand. So although we are blessed to be in this pure process of bhakti, maybe Ajamil was there or not, we don't know. But of course, he was in the mode of goodness. He was a Brahmana and was following his principles. May not be exactly like the Vaishnava principles, like we are trying to follow, but there is that small difference. Like we say that one of the offenses says that even maintaining material attachment, even in spite of hearing all the glories of the holy name. So there itself we stand, we have material attachment. We may not commit offense against pure devotee, may not commit offenses against devotee also, suppose. But still we are maintaining our own material attachments, even after hearing so much about the holy name. So that itself is an offense. So yes, so we need to work on those things so that we can we can call the names helplessly and offenselessly. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Because yesterday there was a lecture I forwarded it in our group by Keshavan Prabhuji, who's giving lecture on all the 10 offenses. And in the lecture, he very beautifully said, even once, just once in a lifetime, if somebody chants the holy name purely, that one time is good to take us back home. Like that's how much power he said the holy name has. And in the lecture, he's also, you very beautifully said in the same lecture, he's also saying the same thing, that though we are trying to chant pure or offenselessly, but when we chant, we have all the material, at least I have all the material thoughts in the mind. So he says, whatever is important for us, you will see that during chanting. So if you don't see Krishna, or you can't concentrate your mind on the names, that means something else has taken over your mind than Krishna. So he said that does mean that you need to read more so that you know more about Krishna. He gave a perfect example. Then when you shake hands with someone, you just simply shake hand. When somebody tells you, you know who this person was that you just shook hand, that was Prime Minister of US, then you're like, oh my God, you go back again and with conviction you shake hand. There's a difference. So that's the conviction that we want to have, that I chant, but I'm chanting Krishna. I need to know who he is so I can chant purely. Beautiful points though. Thank you, Prabhuji, for adding. Anyone else would like to add something? Or should we move on to the next one then?
Yes, Mataji.
ठीक है जी. So we are at number 11. Lisa Mataji, again Sanskrit for you.
11.
I will read the Sanskrit part.
ठीक है,
Mataji is comfortable?
Do I read?
You can read,
Hare
Mataji. If you
Krishna.
want to read the Sanskrit, you can. जी जी.
Yeah. Na niskritar uditar brahma vadibhis.
ना
You can repeat.
Na
निष्कृतार
niskriter
ना
udater
निष्कृतार
brahmavadibhis
ब्रह्मवादिभिर
Tatha visuchyati aghavan vratabdibhih.
तथा विशुद्ध्ययत
tata
यत्यवान्
vishuddhyati agvana
व्रतादि
vratha itivi
Yatha harer nama padair udahritais.
यथा हरेर्नाम
yata harer
पदैरु
nama pader
उदारहृते
udharites
Tat uttama sloka guno palam bhakam.
tad utama
तत्
shloka
उत्तमश्लोकं
guno palabhakam.
पालं भकम्. Anybody would like to read?
Hare Krishna, can I read?
जी जी प्रभु जी, please go ahead.
Translation: by following the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies or undergoing atonement, sinful men do not become as purified as by chanting once the holy name of Lord Hari. Although ritualistic atonement may free one from sinful reactions, it does not awaken devotional service. Unlike the chanting of the Lord's names, which reminds one of the Lord's fame, qualities, attributes, pastimes, and paraphernalia, purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments that the chanting of the holy name of the Lord has special significance that distinguishes it from the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies of atonement for more severe, or most severe sinful actions. There are 20 types of religious scriptures called Dharma Shastras, beginning with the Manu Samhita and Parashar Samhita. But herein it is stressed that although one may become free from the reactions of the most sinful activities by following the religious principles of the scriptures, this cannot promote a sinful man to the stage of loving service to the Lord. On the other hand, chanting the holy name of the Lord, even once, not only frees one immediately from the reactions of the greatest sins, but also raises one to the platform of rendering loving service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is described as Uttama Shloka, because he is famous for his glorious activities. Thus, one serves the Lord by remembering his form, his attributes, and pastimes. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that this is all possible simply by chanting the Lord's holy name because of the Lord's omnipotence. What cannot be achieved through the performance of Vedic rituals can be easily achieved through the chanting of the Lord's holy name. To chant the holy name and dance in ecstasy is so easy and sublime that one can achieve all the benefits of spiritual life simply by following this process. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu declares, Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. All glories to Sri Krishna Sankirtana. The Sankirtana movement we have started offers the best process for becoming purified of all sinful reactions and coming immediately to the platform of spiritual life. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. You can see that very important essence point is told. Like it is not just about cleansing of our sins. It's not just about getting rid of the reactions of the sins, but most importantly, the holy name, when chanted, it slowly and steadily develops the love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And as this love, which was dormant when we came to the material world, now it is becoming awakened. So we can see that the loving relationship between a devotee, between the living entity and the Lord, is being established. The more sincerely the living entity chants, the relationship is becoming more and more stronger, and then the love between them and the loving reciprocation between them is increasing. So definitely, by no other religious principles of all the Dharma Shastras, this love can be awakened only by chanting of the holy name. That is the only way by which we can re-establish our relation. So that is the prime attribute of the process of chanting. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada.
Anyone would like to add anything? Thank you, Prabhuji. One point that Keshavan Prabhuji was mentioning in his lecture, he said, one of the Shikshashtakam says, all glories to Shri Krishna Sankirtan. Said one time, I was asked, Sankirtan means everybody get together and chant. What about our personal chanting, individual chanting? How is that considered Sankirtan? He said, because I didn't knew that. All the devotees are advanced here, so might know that before already. I just wanted to share. He said, Sankirtan means all the senses are coming together and chanting for chanting the Krishna's name. So that's Sankirtan as well. That's why whether I'm doing individual chanting or chanting together, it's Sankirtan. So that was beautifully explained, thought to share.
Thank you for sharing, Mataji. That was also new for me. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji, for that. Hare Krishna.
So should we move on to the next one then? Or should we take a pause? क्योंकि आज प्रभु जी नहीं है, so what do we want to do? It's not a long purport. The next one is not too big. We can still read if we. Should we continue?
Yes.
ठीक है जी.
You can continue, Mataji.
ठीक है जी. ये वाला वर्स पढ़ लेते हैं, then we can pause. Number 12. प्रभु जी आप संस्कृत पढ़ना चाहेंगे? आनंद राम प्रभु जी.
Okay, Mataji, I'll read the sloka, then another devotee can read the purport.
ठीक है जी.
नैकान्तिकं तद्देहि कृत अपि निष्कृते
नैकान्तिकां तद्धि
कृते अपि निष्कृते
मना पुनर्धावति चेद असत्पाते
मना पुनर्धावति चेतस्पते
तत्कर्म निर्हारम अभिपस्तं हरेर गुणानुवाद खलु सत्वभावानाः Yeah, any devotee would like to read? Mataji, you can read. Today you could not read.
ठीक है जी. Translation. The ritualistic ceremonies of atonement recommended in the religious scriptures are insufficient to cleanse the heart absolutely, because after atonement, one's mind again runs towards material activities. Consequently, for one who wants liberation from the fructive reactions of material activities, the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra or the glorification of name, fame, and pastimes of the Lord is recommended as the most perfect process of atonement, because such chanting eradicates the dirt from one's heart immediately. Chetodarpan Marjanam. This purport. The statements in this verse has been confirmed previously in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.17. Shravatam sva katha Krishna punya shravan kirtana hriday antastho hi abhadrani vidhunoti suhrit satam. Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleans desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who relishes his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. It is the special mercy of the Supreme Lord that as soon as he knows that one is glorifying his name, fame, and attributes, he personally helps cleanse the dirt from one's heart. Therefore, simply by such glorification, one not only becomes purified, but also achieves the result of the pious activities, Punya Shravan Kirtana. Punya Shravan Kirtan refers to the process of devotional service. Even if one does not understand the meaning of Lord's name, pastimes, or attributes, one is purified simply by hearing or chanting them. Such purification is called Sattva bhavana. One's main purpose in human life should be to purify his existence and achieve liberation. As soon as one has a material body, one is understood to be impure. In such an impure material condition, one cannot enjoy a truly blissful life, although everyone seeks for it. Therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam says, Tapo 5.5.1 says, Tapo divyam putraka yena sattvam shuddhayet. One must perform tapasya, austerity, to purify his existence in order to come to the spiritual platform. This tapasya of chanting and glorifying the names, fames, and attributes of the Lord is a very easy purifying process by which everyone can be happy. Therefore, everyone who desires the ultimate cleansing of his heart must adopt this process. Other processes such as karam, gyan, and yoga cannot cleanse the heart absolutely. So again, the same thing that we have discussed from the previous verse is beautifully explained by Prabhupada ji here. The ritualistic ceremonies. This was a question that was asked, I think, by Archana Mataji, and Prabhuji also gave a beautiful answer there. That yes, the ritualist ceremonies do atone. They do work in atonement, but the atonement is not is insufficient. In the sense, why insufficient? Because it's like we take a bath in the Ganga's water, right? In Ganga, we take a bath, we come back, we think that, yeah, all the sins are gone. They might be, they are gone. But the tendency to commit those sins are still there inside us. Those desires, those lust, greed, anger, everything is there. So with that mentality or with that consciousness, we get into the same thing as we were doing before. So in order for us to become completely purified, we need to get rid of those hidden desires, those lusts, those greeds, those ahamameti things. And that's only feasible with chanting of Hari name. And Prabhupada ji here scientifically also says, Krishna as Paramatma lives in everyone's heart. He's a super soul. So when the things that we don't know, Krishna knows about us. So when we are chanting and relishing his messages, he's Cheto Darpan Marjanam. We have heard that from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He starts to clean the root of the desires. And this is when we get purified. When the desires are purified, obviously we'll be moving towards Krishna rather than the stupid material desires that we have today in our heart. So he personally helps clean the dirt of one's heart. And when one is, and here also another point that Prabhupada is saying, one is simply purified by hearing. Even if we don't even understand. Like today, when we are hearing Katha, I don't understand everything. I don't have full understanding of everything that Krishna is about. So I think other than pure devotees, it's hard for us to attain. Krishna is a seam, Navayovanam cha. Things keep changing with him every single time. So it's very hard to even understand everything about him. So simply by hearing, even if we do not understand clearly, just by hearing and chanting them, we can become pure. That's the beauty and that's the mercy of Krishna on us. And Prabhupada ji here is saying one must perform tapasya, austerity, to purify his existence. He's not talking about tapasya of, going somewhere, or he's not talking about tapasya of too much into Gyan Yoga or Karam Yoga. He's talking about austerity, tapasya, trying to chant Krishna's name in a offenseless manner. Try to inculcate the mood where we are helplessly crying that we have no one else but you. That will be our real austerity. And once we see that, we will eventually come to the spiritual platform. Please, anybody would like to add or comment? Please go ahead, Ji.
Hare Krishna.
Anyone would like to? Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So, this last line was reminding me how in this particular interview, that latest interview, when this person is asking Keshwanand Prabhu, Dr. Keshwanand Prabhu, like what happens when the people follow all this Vipassana, Hatha Yoga and all those stuff, all those meditation process. So very convincingly, Keshwanand Prabhu says that, oh, this will give them some peace, this will give them some relaxation, but it will not make any transformation. So that was like a very hitting statement. It's not going to make any transformation in the approach of the person. You will be definitely will get some benefit, but not change of nature. He said the word was, yeah, he said there is no they will never give a change of nature of the person. So we have all come with the nature of being self-centered. Therefore, we are in this material world. So when we only chant and by continuous chanting, this is like last 2-3 lines. Prabhupada is like pushing it to us. Tapasya of chanting and glorifying. So presently, the chanting and glorifying the names of the Lord may be tapasya, but we have to undergo this tapasya. We have to do it as a tapasya in the start, and as we cleanse, then we will develop a real love for the name. Like whatever love we have for the Lord, the same love for the name will be developed, because though by knowledge, though by hearing again and again, we know that abhinatvam nama nameno, there is no difference between the name of the Lord and Lord himself, but still we have not realized it, because our consciousness is so dirty. So by the cleansing of the consciousness, cleansing of the heart steadily, and we may be at different levels. So one fine day we'll be able to chant the name of the Lord with love. Presently we have to think that we have to chant with love, but we may not be able to chant with love. But then we have to take it as the medicine, like the medicine works. So similarly, the chanting of the holy name will work and will cleanse, and then once cleanse, we'll chant with love, and then yes, definitely once we chant with love, the loving relationship is established, and we should be convinced that no other process is there, no other way. Like the Kali Santan Upanishad says, it says, no, there is no other way, no other way, no other way. Hare Krishna. We should be absolutely convinced with the process. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Beautiful points. Very true. Anybody would like to add something, or should we take a pause here and we can continue when Prabhuji joins on Monday?
Thank you, Mataji.
Okay, ji. Thank you,
Prabhupada.
Prabhuji. Ki
Prabhupada.
jai.
Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Jai.
Thank you,
Hare
Mataji. Thank you, all the
Krishna.
devotees. Srila Prabhupada ki
Thank you,
jai.
ji. Jai. Hare Krishna.
We'll ask Prabhuji to
Ramji.
again summarize these 2-3 and we
Mhm.
may get some new perspectives.
Yes. Oh, for sure, Prabhuji. Yes. Yeah, we'll ask him to just go over them. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna ji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you.